So the other day, I was looking for videos on how to get paint off of beams and I had a hard time finding what I was looking for. So I'm going to share my experience how to get a beam like this, something more like that. Uh, yeah, let's see. So this is a multi-step process, and I'm near the end, but it took a while. I started out thinking, it's all covered in paint. What am I going to do? I'll just sand it off, right? Got 60 grit sandpaper. We'll get through this. No, not going to happen. It could have happened, but it would take me about 3 years to do it. So I thought maybe some wood stripper. Maybe that's what I need. No, same thing. Like I said, this was very rough. It's not smooth as it is now. It was deep grooves. The paint's in there. In order to try to scrape, it just was not working. And sanding, it was going to take a long time. So in the end, what I needed, what I used, was an angle grinder. I remember thinking, oh, Aaron, I don't have an angle grinder. It's okay. Harbor Freight, $10. Now it's on sale from $15. So is this the best angle grinder in the world? Of course not. If you get to spend more, you can get a more powerful one. It's going to last you longer. But for someone who's going to use this and probably not use it, but a couple times, a decade, do yourself a favor, get a cheap one. But what you're going to need on it are flap discs. And what you're going to need are just the cheapest ones that there are. I tried a lot of different kinds. Found this box on Amazon. Either I got a DeWalt one, $9 for one flap disc. Some from Harbor Freight, they're like $3.50 a flap disc. An entire box of 10 for $16. So you do the math, save yourself some money. The DeWalt one lasted no better. Now there's other brands, sure. If you want to spend $13 a flap disc, that's your call. You can do whatever you want. I tried a planer, and that worked okay. But the thing is, it weighs about 4 times as much as the grinder, and it is a killer shoulder workout. So if you want to get a good shoulder workout, yeah, use the planer the whole time. But you'll see the grinder just takes it all off. And in the end, I wish I actually would have just used it instead of a planer. I use a planer in some spots, but you just want to use the grinder. And in the end, almost the end, you get this. One thing that you will also need is this guy. Multi-tool. I borrowed it from my brother. Borrow it from someone if you can. If you don't, you can pick them up for not too expensive either. A little attachment that you put sandpaper on, because you need to get the corners. Otherwise, if you want to have those little white corners all over, sure, then don't use this. But this is the best way, because the angle grinder, obviously it's round, it's not going to be able to get everything. But you use this right up here in that corner, and it gets rid of it all. So that's what you need. Just grind it all off, and you expose those beautiful beams.
So this is what it looks like. The grinder takes the paint right off and gets down to the bare wood quickly. Those flap discs really work wonders for me. You do have to apply firm to medium pressure, but after a few minutes you get the hang of it. And it goes really fast, especially once you speed up the video.
You're going to want to make sure that you are fully protected from all this mess. I called some of it up over there, but it creates quite
a mess. You're going to make sure you don't breathe it all in.
So this is that multi-tool I was talking about. Just get the sandpaper, clean up those corners really well. It's a little tedious, it's a little slower than the ankle grinder, but as you can see, it does the job. And last but not least, you gotta sand it, because that angle grinder takes it all off, but you are not left with a smooth surface, we'll put it that way. So I think it was 220. I think I used 60 and then 220. I didn't go all the way through the levels of grit because I didn't have time for that. But get it to where it's smooth enough and it's good. Then you got to clean it because you've made a lot of dust. Using this or a brush, get it all off, clean it up. And then, time for the good stuff. What I used was half polyurethane, a warm satin, and half mineral spirits, right? So make my own. Make your own wipe-on poly so that way you can go on easily. You don't have to worry about bubbles and things like that. But it still looks really good and protects the wood for a long time. I did 2 coats in the end. A third would have been better, and maybe even a fourth, but I just ran out of time. You know, we had to move in. But if you have time and you can do that, maybe add that third and fourth. But like I said, either way, doing those 2, even just the first coat, made a big difference. But especially once I did the second one, you can see a big difference in what it was to what it is now. You're welcome. Here's the final shot. Enjoy.
So 10 months later, a new fan, scraped ceilings, and not enough haircuts. This is what it looks like. That's it. Tell me what you would have done differently. And if you're taking on a project like this, just remember, you can do it.